Now imagine my surprise when I found out Euphoria was coming back. And not season 2, but a season 1.5 per se. But I'm guessing they're giving us a 2-part episode special. And you know what? I'll take what I can get, because that show is really good. I can't curse, y'all. I wanted to say effing so bad. Anywho, because of the Dorona, it delayed production, so we're gonna get season 2 like further down in 2021, God willing. But yeah, during season 1 of Euphoria, I wasn't doing the YouTube thing, unfortunately, so I couldn't review it, but it's such a good series, y'all. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Just watch this video too. I mean, you can if you want, but I would recommend that you go back and see season 1. It's only 8 episodes, and this 2-part series picks up exactly where the finale left off. So, before I start the review, a little disclaimers. Now, Euphoria, if you're familiar with the material, it's very dark, so I'm just warning you, like, I will not be, making light of any of the serious subject matter, but I'm just letting you know there's serious subject matter being talked about. Much like my review of May I Destroy You. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. And number 2, this was a very, very heavy dialogue-driven episode, and this is just my interpretation of what I saw. I'm not breaking anything down. I'm just, talking about the show from my viewpoint. Okay, let's get to it. The scene opens up with Jules lying in bed as she's woken up by Rue kissing all over her body. Now, I wish somebody would do that for me, but I digress. Now, it looks like they're all happy in love, and if you remember from the last episode, the season finale, they were both supposed to run off together, and Rue decided to stay behind while Jules left. And that's where Rue relapsed. But anywho, it looks like they're happy, and it seems like Jules came back. So she's getting ready for school, and they're all jolly and shit. So Rue's helping her get ready. She's seeing her out the door. And when Jules leaves, that's when Rue heads to the bedroom. She lifts up the mattress to get some pills, and she heads to the bathroom to get high. Now, as she's getting high, we see that entire scene was a fake out. And in actuality, we see that she's in the bathroom of a diner where she's meeting her sponsor from AA, Ali. They're sitting across from each other having a late night breakfast, and they're engaged in conversation. So Rue is telling Ali that she basically found a good balance with her addiction, how she can use and still be on track, and I'm guessing she's trying to give Ali the impression that she's doing okay. Unfortunately for her, Ali sees directly through all her bullshit. He also sees that she's clearly high and not in control of anything. They're having a very introspective conversation right now. Now, Ali is trying to get through to her that sobriety is her greatest weapon, no matter what she's going through when she's sober. Now, Rue hesitantly states something that's really dark about her that she didn't really want to say, but Ali got her to say it out loud. It turns out when she's clean or sober, it's just such a burden on her that drugs to her is the only reason that's keeping her alive. And yeah, this is some very dark shit, and Rue is definitely facing her demons right now in front of Ali. Now, Ali said he finally appreciates this honesty coming from her because earlier what she was saying was just complete bullshit. Now, Rue scoffs at that, but Ali reassures her that, girl, you're 17. I'm 54. I've seen it all. You don't know shit. You haven't gone through shit. And it's crazy because when we're that age, when you're 16, 17, you thought the world was on your back. Like, you thought you had it so hard. While you living at home with your parents and you're going to school to get an education, you don't know what's rock bottom at that age. I think so, but it's all about perspective. Now, like, I'm 35. If I hear a teenager say, "Oh my God, my life is so hard," I'd be like, well, wait until you're 30, because adulthood is waiting for you. Seriously, y'all, like, no one warned you about adulthood. Like, I want to speak to the manager right now. Now, Ali is just reading her down, and honestly, she needs to hear all of this. So Rue is telling Ali why she relapsed, and honestly, she has no desire to be clean whatsoever. She has this it is what it is mentality, and she just owns to being a piece of shit. So Ali is making the point that you're not an addict because you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit because you're an addict. It's not you. I understood that reference, but I think it went over Rue's head. And a phrase like that, I mean, it's so blunt, but just eloquent, you know? And just wow, like as a viewer, just hearing how powerful addiction is and them comparing it to cancer, it just really brings some insight into how hard it really is on a person. Because you know, most addicts, you can't help an addict. An addict has to want to help themselves. And in that, it's like climbing Mount Everest. This is just really insightful for someone that's like a normal person from the outside looking in. Later in the conversation, we find out that the present time in this episode, it's Christmas Eve. Rue then asks Ali about his personal life. Come to find out he has 2 daughters. He's been sober, well, he's been on the track of being sober for 20 years. He was sober for 12 years, relapsed, and then was sober for another 7 years. So right now, currently, he's 7 years sober. He said when he relapsed, the in-between time was 1.5 years. We also find out that his name is really Martin. I thought that was really funny how he told her, yeah, my name's Martin, but you don't have no black friends? I don't know, it really tickled me. So y'all, we are now like over 15 minutes in this episode, and then when I was watching the first time, I was like, okay, this is gonna be in the diner the entire time. And you know what? I set my expectations to that because I thought we were gonna have an actual episode, but now I have in my mind that this is a dialogue heavy episode where they're just going to be talking back and forth. And I appreciate it. One of my favorite directors is Quentin Tarantino, and he has some of the best dialogue in cinematic history. So I live for good dialogue. So then they get into a discussion about a higher power and just believing in something. And of course, Rue doesn't believe in anything, which brings up her feelings on religion in regards to her dad having cancer and passing. Like, she really does not believe in anything, or the notion that people are put on this earth for a reason and a short of time. She thinks it's bullshit. Y'all, just pause into this review. This is some tour de force acting. This is some real shit. Like, Zendaya, like, she deserved that Emmy. She deserves another one for this performance and the actor across from her. Anywho, the conversation about belief and serving a purpose in life, it really leads into so many gems dropped by Ali. I'm not going to go into all the stuff that he's talking about for the sake of time, but y'all really need to watch this episode. So Ali gets up from the table to take a smoke break. He goes outside, and I'm guessing he's talking to his daughter on the phone. In the meantime, Rue is in the restaurant, and she gets a text from Jules saying she misses her. Now, did anyone else think that something bad was about to happen as Ali's standing in this dark parking lot? I was just like, Lord, please don't let him get shot or like mugged or something. Was it just me? I just have this habit of when I'm watching something, I always try to predict the ending. I don't know why, I can't help it. But thankfully, I was wrong. He returns inside the restaurant safely and sits back across from Rue. By the way, the music on this show is top tier. So their conversation continues, and Rue asks Ali what should she do about her relationship with Jules. Now, Ali does a fabulous job of answering this question by turning over to the waitress behind him and asking her about her sobriety since she's a former addict. And basically, from what she said, Rue has no damn business trying to be in a relationship. Well, anyone in general doesn't have a reason to be looking for a relationship or dating when they are working on themselves, much less their sobriety. So now it looks like Rue is going into like a mood of regret and sadness. And she's talking about her relationship with Jules to Ali. And Ali just brings to light that, well, is what y'all had, was it really a relationship? Were y'all together? And she was like, yeah, like we kissed and, you know, I really loved her. But he was like, did y'all not talk about it? Like, did y'all have a conversation about the relationship? Did y'all set boundaries? Like, and then it really does make sense. Like, so she really shouldn't be upset about being cheated on when there was no parameters of the relationship that were made. At this point, Ali is a fucking prophet. And hats off to Zendaya with this acting and getting the dialogue straight. Like, she is really hitting the level of highs. Because if you notice, Rue started out in the conversation in the beginning of the episode, like really euphoric. and high, and now like her high is coming down and she's faced with a sober reality. Just so deep, like she's just facing her truth right now. Anywho, Ali is meanwhile trying to get through to Rue that she is in fact not a piece of shit and she shouldn't give up on herself so easily. Now Rue wants to know, what has Ali done so terrible that he can relate to what she done that was so terrible? She mentions that she threatened to end her mom's life, which is super terrible, but Ali says, young one, I have lived. Which brings him to his point that the longer you do drugs, the more you're gonna lose, including the people in your life. Now, finally we get to Rue's core truth. She says that she doesn't plan on being here much longer, regardless of what Ali is trying to tell her. Ali is like, okay, so if you don't plan on being here much longer, how do you want your mom and your little sister to remember you as? And I'm just like, woo! Oh my God, if any part got me, it was this entire scene after this. She says, I want them to remember me as someone who tried to be someone that they couldn't be. As she's like crying, and Ali reaches his hand over to hers and says, I have faith in you. And that's what got me. I was just like, damn, just so good and so powerful. He even in that instance gets a smile out of her, and that's when they leave the diner. So after that, the episode ends with them leaving the restaurant and a haunting rendition of Ave Maria playing. And the camera pans on Rue as Ali is bringing her home. And I'm just like, woo, what an episode. So this episode was really nothing how I thought it was gonna be. It turned out to be just one long scene. And I did find out that they filmed this during the pandemic, so I'm guessing it makes sense that they didn't make it this whole big thing and brought everybody back. And I can understand how this is polarizing to some people. Some people can think it's boring because the show is usually at like a really fast pace. And this particular special, they slowed everything down and just focused on the dialogue and the character development. And I enjoyed it. And I honestly just thought it was so brilliant, like the acting, it was just so introspective. Zendaya really knocked it out the park, along with the actor who played Ali. I need to get his name. Now, next week, I'm really curious as to where they're gonna go with part 2. Is it still gonna be on Rue, or is it gonna focus on Jules? At least now, I have in my mind what I can expect for the next episode. Like maybe something more slow and not the usual Euphoria episode that we're all used to. But yeah, that's my review of part 1 with Rue. And yeah, I will see y'all for the next episode. I really cannot wait. I hope HBO Max releases it early too. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you for my Potomac review. Bye.